My voice is going out. Hello, everybody. Well, there are nobody watching as usual. Oh, hey there, Olivia. You should come on over here. Kitty, Olivia has been very needy. I notice my voice is not peaking as high as it should, like anybody's got to do. But boy, you know, to be honest, and I pride myself on my honesty. I think that the only way we had a very, very bad launch for Peace Island. We just did. Sometimes I think to myself, the only way that our release could have been worse, our initial release, is that if it just literally just deleted everybody's hard drive and replaced it with swastikas and porn. Because, oh my goodness, so much stuff that we had assumed was good and working, yeah, just for various reasons, well, was not properly integrated. And, again, when you get right down to it, I blame myself and really us. We should have done more testing. But the thing is, uh, we do not give up because, hell, we've been working on this for so many. I mean, it would be silly to give up. But let me see. By the way, to anybody who might be watching, I do not know. I probably don't have it, but that's totally just anybody who might be tuning in and catching up. Please talk to me over there in the chat if you want to. I know some people who are asocial tune in and say, I tune in but I'm just not, cool with talking, and that's totally cool. But and that's cool. But if you want to chat, that's pretty awesome because really, otherwise you're going to be listening to me just ramble on. I should put on some racket and some noise, something. So, yeah, right now, here's if you follow a certain path through the game, you'll find yourself here. Fallout Shelter. Now, there's something in the Fallout Shelter that's going to help you discover more about the island. But the problem right now is that really the door here is for decorative purposes. It really does not open. And that really is not meant for us because if you have played, I'm not giving away anything here. I have any spoilers or anything. As you notice, the Fallout shelter, there's a Fallout shelter in the basement of the town hall, but that's locked from that side. But you can eventually get inside of there. What's wrong with the ceiling? It looks like we're getting some sort of shadow. No. Are those lights? Let me just check something. But yeah, see, point here is it's hard shadows. Yeah, hard shadows. So you should not be. What's your wackiness over here? It may be just something in the editor. For some reason, we're seeing the lights on the opposite side over here on the ceiling, which should not be the case. It may be an editor only because we are edited low quality inside the. But yeah, I would like it so that when the cats finally get in there, they are able to just swiftly, get out, go back out. It's a toy that they have rather than going through the very circuitous route that they had to take to get inside of here. And also in here, there is a radio, if you don't know, so you might be able to find out what's happening in the rest of the world. I forget how many radio channels there are. I think there are about 8 or 9. I forget. But let's see here. So anyway, what I want to do is I want to, I would, as much as I would really love to have, the Fallout kind of door with the alarm and everything, it's just going to be zip. I'll have some sort of nice sound effect. So, let me see. Let me just say, as an American citizen, uh, you know, I for the last couple of weeks, I have been wondering, because I've studied so much of history that usually when these sort of crazy things happen, I've been able to keep my head on straight for the most part, even through the worst of things for the most part, because I understand. There are examples in history of these sort of things happening. No, they don't last long, etc. I always find an example. Now, what we've been going through in the United States of America and Iran and Israel, because the major not to get off on a tangent, but if October 7th attack had not happened, Benjamin Netanyahu would not even been in office at this point. But hey, let's leave that alone. Um, it's shocking. It is shameful. I am embarrassed as an American and as a citizen of the world. Um, and I wish there was something that I could do other than just because really, if I mean, I don't know if you're watching. I mean, the average American is watching CNN and Fox News, and I mean now they have even crazier networks like OAN and other. And here's the what I don't know what you guys are watching, but I'm sorry, I got off on a tangent there. Like I said, in times past, when stuff like this has happened, I've always been able to keep pretty much a level head where everybody else is speculating about, oh, this will go here, this will go there. I mean, of course, I'd always be able to go, they have to fill a 24-hour news cycle. They have to keep the talking. They have to speculate. They have to speculate. And, um, but this is a situation where I have to say, uh, nothing good is going to come of this. I mean, if any, just like everything else that the Trump supporters have had to go through, uh, I mean, a hell of a lot of them are like, oh yeah, Trump is the anti-war candidate, etc. But again, we're talking about people that have flipped their, ideology on a dime, as long as it, glorifies daddy. That's apparent. If you're not familiar, if I'm talking to anybody in Europe or across the world, if you're not aware, the conservatives in this country call Donald Trump daddy. Um, do with that what you will. Um, to me, there's a hell of a lot to unpack. But oh, it says I'm disconnected. I don't know, but anyway, I'm going to keep on. It says I think I'm finally going to give myself the opportunity and the luxury of being very, very concerned. And I think that everybody else should as well. If anybody, or if you've been watching me for a while doing these sort of video game streams, I did one right after we shat the bed and somehow, Trump stumbled into office a second time. That this would not stop until we had a famine in this country. Uh, what's shocking to me, is how quick this happens. This has happened. I didn't expect we'd get to famine until maybe, his third or fourth year into office, but they're already talking about worldwide famines because of this absolute jackassery. And what's um I've been watching John Kiriakou, CIA agent. Um, he's one of the few people, he's not right. He said some pretty stupid things straight up, things that I know are. But then again, he said he's a very good liar. But lately, straight up, he's been just saying, I don't see anything good happening anywhere. And that's absolutely true. There's nothing good happening. This end. How will this end? It will not end well. It will not end well for the United States of America. It will not end. And here's how I know. Understand, if anybody, I like I said, I worked in politics for a lot of years, and one thing that makes Trump a little bit more understandable is when you understand uh, every accusation is a confession. Now, in the debate with Kamala Harris, which again was the biggest ass handing I've ever seen in any political debate, and let me find a good texture. Let's see, a good brush steel. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, that looks good. But if you watch that, you'll remember one of the many insane things that like flopped out of Trump's mouth was, if Kamala gets elected, there'll be World War III. Again, I didn't think it would happen this quickly. Now, one thing though is he followed up that statement in that debate with, if she is elected, Israel will cease to exist. Uh, just say it. And like I said, I mean, I'm pretty sure that if you have been watching CNN, just see if there's any chats over here. Anybody talking to me? Close, yeah. No one's talking to me, but that's okay. In fact, I'd love to talk to anybody. I mean, hell, if you're a Trump supporter, I'd love to talk to you. Just seeing, how you've been able to, figure, out how you've been able to justify your continued support of this, considering the man had anyway, it's just crazy. It is just crazy the time that we're in. And you know what? The really craziest thing is, it's all happening because Donald Trump. I, it's because the Israelis, through Jeffrey Epstein, have video of Donald Trump raping 12 and 13-year-old girls. And if Donald Trump backs out of what Netanyahu is asking of him, those videos will go live, or they will be leaked through some party, etc., etc. And like in future times, my goodness, how did it start? Well, you see, for some reason, we elected this guy. First time we elected, he screwed everything up. Absolutely, from top to bottom. In fact, over 1 million Americans died. Can't be the first time he was. From a plague. And oil was literally less than $1. It was less than $0 a barrel. The economy of the world collapsed, and the little girls, and the little people in this future, this future, if there is such a one, will go, well, goodness. Surely people back then were smart enough that they didn't bring him back. He just left, right? They did something to him. They put him in jail, right? No, younglings. They elected him again. So how did the war start? Because again, this guy. And it's the saddest thing. I mean, at least World War One, which was an incredibly stupid war, the way it you know, just one thing led to another, to another, to another. I mean, that was damn stupid, but this is even more stupid. Because again, it's about an old man who raped children. Now, and what's really crazy is, like I said, a lot of Americans are getting their information from CNN and Fox and all these, and maybe they're thinking, "Oh yeah, I'll go to Al Jazeera because they're in the Middle East. They'll give me." Oh my goodness, no. There's one set of news to the West that we are getting that is mostly comes through Israeli censors of what's going on in Israel and in Iran, because etc. Uh, and there's another set of news that you can find out if you go to channels in South Asia, mostly from India, Pakistan, and places like that. Tel Aviv, it's starting to look a lot like Gaza, and it's getting hit repeatedly, and it's going to get hit even more as the Iranians continue. Now, from what I understood last night, there was an earthquake reported near the Israelis. A slight tremor in the ground reported near that, I forget it. Basically, the town where Israel definitely doesn't have the have all of its most all of its nuclear weapons. Doesn't have its facility where it creates all those nuclear weapons that it has. All three. I believe that Israel did a underground test of one of their low yield nuclear weapons. What they're going to try and do is understand Iran has had 40 of close to half a century to prepare for this. And the card mount? Anyway, they have, oh my goodness. They still have 40,000 missiles. I would say in the about neighborhood about 25 to 30,000 missiles left. And I think, again, there's no good way out of this. Apparently Trump is going to try and make some sort of address to the American people tonight on television. I don't believe a single damn word the guy says. But anyway, it's frightening. It is genuinely frightening. And in a greater sense, I mean, God. It's impossible to describe just the absolute insanity and stupidity that are words I'm seeing now. I mean, I can tell you Donald Trump is literally, I have never seen a person, much less a president, and a sensible president of the United States, just stating such absolute nonsense day after day. And it's like, I do not understand why people are still trying to figure out, oh, he must know what he's talking about. Like he keeps like, oh yeah, I'm in discussions with a moderate faction in Iran, and Iran keeps on. We're not even discussing anything with Trump. We're not discussing anything. And so we're hearing people like, again, CNN and Tisa Fox and all. Well, goodness gracious. That apparently means that the Iranian government is no longer in charge. So Trump must be talking to the people that are really in charge. Goodness. It's the most stupid thing I've seen in 55 years of my planet. And to think there are people that are just, I mean, it's opened the door for so much bollocks. That Professor Zhang guy who maintained, oh my God, that guy's a nut. I'm waiting for his bubble to pop. This entire, we're just trying to find some certainty. And that guy offered just bollock certainty, but certainty of a certain kind. So he unfortunately is taking off. It is just not good. And all the way down, Trump will never, ever admit that the guy just wanted to stay out of jail. And, that was something that John Kiriakou said, one of the first podcasts I ever listened to. And he said, what Biden should have done is pardon Trump. And I was like, what? Hold on. No way. But here's the thing. Understand. He only ran for president the second time. Not because he had some great agenda or anything to accomplish. He wanted to stay out of jail. He was going to go to jail if he was not president of the United States within a couple of weeks. It would have sucked. Biden, I mean, heck, he got kicked out of office after one term no matter what, but he would have gotten a real lot of flack for that. But here's the thing. I understand what Kiriakou is getting at. If we had swallowed the frog and pardoned Trump as a country, we would not be going through, the world would not be going through what we are going through right now. And there's some wisdom to that. And I guarantee, I mean, there's some people out there still, oh yeah, Iran, there are a bunch of country people live in mud huts. They just go around, the standard racist garbage about the Middle. Oh, God. Iran. Here's the, if you, we have a sort of a skewed view of their economy because they don't, their economy operate because they don't have big chains. And they still, but no, they are essentially a first world country, and it's just shocking to me. Going along with this, yeah. God bless the USA. And how it will end, I unfortunately do not know. But like I said, this is not going to end until there is a genuine famine, not abroad, but here in the United States of America. And I stand by that. Because, I mean, Americans are already going to credit card debt just to pay for their groceries. And what's kind of astounding, another thing that just blows my mind, is that the commentators are going, well, Americans aren't really invested in this until they see, see Americans die over there. They're more concerned about the 401k. And that's another thing that people don't seem to realize. Iran, because it rejects the Western concept of capitalism, they are completely aware of the effect of crashing the Western economic model. They know what they are doing. Oh, well, they're just blasting away at nothing. Oh, they know just by creating the uncertainty. They know what they're doing. They are incredibly smart in what they're. And to think that again, you have some people. I guarantee there are some people. Oh yeah, it's going to be just like Iraq. We're going to bring them home. Well, no, it ain't going to be like Iraq because we have a smart president. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. It hurts so much, the stupidity. That is one thing about living in the United States right now. The stupidity physically hurts um, when you see it in action. And here's the thing: is I think. Excuse me. I have to step out. Wait for a moment. Grandpa Eric to use the restroom. And by the way, for those many people who are tuning in, and how many? Please chat there with me because otherwise, and I could put some noise on in the background. I'll do that when I get back. But I think oh, we still have some. Yeah, I had a little Genta over there. I'll be back in a bit. So hello, back. And yeah, I think, by the way, actually, there's a far better way to do this. I'm an idiot. You have to pardon me. We have 4 people viewing right now. That's scary. If we have people watching, why aren't you talking to me? Please, somebody talk to me. Please, somebody. Let's see here. I'm going to put on something in the background from our good cryo chamber. Like crap. But I can't play that one. Ah, that looks good. By the way, if I haven't said this before, excuse me. Ooh, boy, that was loud. Sorry. Um, yeah, it's just basically, again, cryo chamber. This label I listen to, they do this dark ambient stuff. Their albums basically sound like you're walking through an abandoned Serbian steel plant at like 3 a.m. Um, yeah, there's a far better way to do this, and I feel dumb. sudden. But I don't know. When I started this stream, I was just sort of, I mean, really, if you're an American citizen, it's very hard to put into words what we're going through right now. And, and just knowing this will not end well by any stretch of the imagination in any way. And I left my cup in the other room. I will be right back, Lee. All right, great. Back with my cup, my sippy cup with the broken hand. Let's see. What was I gonna work? Okay, it was this, and there was yeah. This is better to do. Really, we have a redundant tile there. That's weird. Well, hey, that makes our job a little bit easier here. No. Open fab first. But what's really, I mean, telling, and I mean, the one thing that gives me pause is that even though basically all the adults have left the room here in the United States when it comes to what's going on, there are a heck of a lot of countries in the world that are trying to figure this out, trying to get, I mean, goodness, just prevent this absolute just. This is going to go down in history. I think Donald Trump was really jealous of Vladimir Putin because I mean, invading Ukraine was one of the most stupid ideas that I had ever seen in my 55 years. And I think that really, again, when Trump came into office the second time, he said, "I'm very sorry, but I can't. I have to be the biggest. I have to do the dumbest. I have to wreck the most stuff. I have to slam my name in history so that nobody will ever forget me." I mean, it'll be very interesting this year. Actually, I'm going to copy that. See? Because we're dependent on tourism in Portland to a good extent. I don't think we're going to get much in the way of tourism this year. I mean, last year, it was literally, I'd say, 50% of the number of tourists we usually get in Portland. But, boy, I think this coming year, I mean, considering we're such a left-wing town, I don't think we're even going to be, if Israeli tourists show up here, they're not going to get a very good time. Considering, I mean, that is in America. I knew that AIPAC had a hell of a lot of control in Washington. The American Israel Political Action Committee. But I mean, if you're not aware, I mean, that's another disappointment, disgust that we're having to deal with this in the country. Basically, the Democrats, we're expecting the Democratic Party to actually, like, just maybe voice a little bit of opposition to the worst geopolitical move in living history. And they're mostly quiet because every last one of them got big checks from AIPAC. Except maybe Ilhan Omar and Bernie Sanders. Bernie, what we could, to think what we could have had. And that's another thing, the Democratic Party. I mean, this could have all been avoided. Again, if the Democratic Party had not been who it is. Because if you're not aware, I mean, Bill Burr, everybody's angry at Bill Burr right now because he did the Saudi, comedy festival. Well, hey, But when he's right, he's right. Understand, the Democratic Party is, to a great deal, responsible for where we are today in regards to Trump. In 2016, we wanted Bernie. The Democratic Party said, no, screw you. And they literally changed the rules and everything to make sure that Hillary was going to be nominated. In 2020, we were like, we want Bernie. And all the insiders, along with Michael Bloomberg, up until then, who had been a Republican, all got together and said, nope, we're going to support Joe Biden. And in 2024, we could have had Bernie again. We could have had an open convention. Most Democrats wanted an open convention. And they said, no, you're going to get Kamala. The Democratic Party, hoi polloi, we have not had a say in who the Democratic Party's presidential candidate is going to be in close to 15 years. Since Barack Obama. That was the last time. Obama versus Hillary was the last time that we had, that. And Obama won, and I, for the exact reasons. And if you're wondering the exact reason, I mean, everybody, I think, got a big wake up when they, did their Epstein testimony. Oh, Hillary, you're going to protect that class, Hillary. Even if it means covering for the disgusting man who you beat by 3 million votes in the 2016 election. You're going to sit there before Congress and lie. That was disgusting. And yeah. And again, all of this could have been avoided had the Democratic Party said, okay, the guys want Bernie, let Bernie run. And I know the people, God, all the people who read the New York Times, Bernie Sanders would have been completely destroyed. All the David Brookses and all the, screw you guys. You have absolutely no idea what you're talking about. I know I got a gist of what you wrote after the 2024 election, just like you always do at the New York Times. They just type, well, after another election in which the Democrats got more votes than the Republicans, but somehow, snatched defeat from the jaws of victory, this just proves the Democratic Party needs to temper its message, give up all of its principles, and become more like the Republicans. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. I'm so sick of it. I can't. And, again. And again, there are some wackos in this world, in this country right now, are going, them liberals, they don't know. Donald Trump's got this all 100% under control. He's gonna kill them Iranians. He's gonna make them regret they ever screwed with us. They didn't attack. Well, how about Hezbollah? Hezbollah attacks Israel. Maybe Hezbollah and Hamas wouldn't be able to attack Israel so much if Benjamin Netanyahu hadn't allowed $9 billion to reach Hamas and prepare and, arm up for the October 7th. October 7th would have never happened. The October 7th attacks in Israel would have never happened had Benjamin Netanyahu not let those $9 billion just go right into Hamas's hands. And the more we're learning about October 7th, they're saying, 1,400 Israelis were killed. I would be willing to bet it's now less than 1,000. As bad as that is, because if you don't know, the Israelis killed a significant number of the people, a significant percentage of the people. Oh, sorry. Oh, hello, Foxy. Yeah, Foxy, it is broken. I have to say you're absolutely correct. And the thing is people thought, by voting for Trump, we're sending a signal and things are going to get fixed. And and again, I blame the Democratic Party just right now for the Democratic Party should be demanding, screaming and yelling and raising bloody murder over this. It doesn't matter that Chuck Schumer is in charge and they should be screaming bloody freaking murder about their oversight and their ability. military action, and they're just standing there because, of course, APAC. And I'm pretty sure the day that that war broke out, every Democratic congressman got a message from their, the one guy from APAC, the guy who's like all about social justice and everything. Like, we're going to have to do this thing, but if you don't go along with us, we're going to just say, we were going to give you $500,000 next time, but there's this guy I heard in your district, and he's very good for us, much better than you, etc., etc. And it's disgusting to know that this little freaking country, and if any, I'm going to say the United States, and I have been saying this for months now, is that if the average United States citizen cannot discern between Israel and Judaism, we are heading into a very dark place in this country. Because I have said this not millions of times, but dozens of times, and I stand by it. The people that I have met that have hated Israel the most and had the most vehement, the angry things to say about Israel, all Jewish. They say things that I couldn't bring myself to say. And so I'm really afraid that if Hitler Trump does not back out of this, and if Israel uses a low-yield weapon and this boils out of control, Jewish people are going to get hurt because of an entity that most American Jewish people have nothing to do with and no interest in it. The vast majority. And it's frightening because it opened the door to all of this. No one's getting help by this. There was this great episode of South Park. I'm one of those leftists gotten to South Park recently again. And at the very end, where Kyle's mom goes in to talk to Benjamin Netanyahu, and she has this great, you have been an albatross around the neck. I forget what she says. You're a Shonda. Basically, if you know the term, a Shonda for the Goyim. She doesn't use those phrases, but that's what it is. I'm not Jewish, but I know the lingo, and I travel's expensive and impossible. But here's the thing: is people need to travel less. I only recently learned that because of global warming, there's this really heavy turbulence when they fly. And their response: build heavier planes that require more fuel that will accelerate global warming. And make things worse. The question, are humans worth bringing back? At the heart of this game's, narrative. Boy, it's becoming harder and harder to come up with. Actually, we do have an angle for why the cats might want humans back, and once you discover it's, yeah, that's why cats would want us back for that reason. That reason. That looks like it's okay. I guess for some reason it looked like that was it wrong. Here's the thing. Well, we have a couple of supporters in Israel of the Peace Island Project, and I'm hoping that they are among the 30 some odd percent of Israeli society who is just against this crap. But oh my goodness. Okay, so these guys got buried. And if you don't know the phrase, what the phrase "Shonda for the Goyim" means, it's a phrase that means that Jewish people might use amongst themselves, because it basically says if they say, if a Jewish person were to say that person is a shandig for the goyim, they would say that person feeds into every negative stereotype of the Jewish people, and he is a shame for the goyim to use against us. You see. And yeah, we're familiar that yeah, goy means cattle. Oh my goodness. Every religion has a horrible name for the person that does not belong to them. Okay, everyone, from apostate to freaking heretic to Satan. So yeah, of course. I can't. If anybody just tries to. Anyway, most of the people who are saying that are people who just discovered that like 3 weeks ago, and they're, "Oh, MG, my goodness, I found this out. Did you know that?" Yeah, we've known that for decades. It's fine. It's fine. Okay, so now we got this door properly situated. That wall. I did need to design this basement area. Um, And actually, now that I think about it, there are one or two more radio stations I would like to add. I'm just going to take a look at this again because I forget how many radio stations there are. Radio script. Let's see here. Stations. Station. Yeah, a lot. Let's see. USSR, Germany, parts unknown. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7 channels, but I'll probably, like I said, I wouldn't. Let's see. My goodness, I've gotten very other than just ranting here. And bring me back, even with all your human flaws. Yeah. 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 Well, uh, yeah. I don't know how efficient cats, domesticated cats, would be. Actually, no, I know very well because if you're not aware, I was about to say, I don't know how efficient domesticated cats would be at survival, but actually, um, in hunting and such, we recently adopted a kitten, Opal. Opal, come on over here. Hey, come on. Um, she's not a kitten anymore. It's a little screen time. One person or two. Hey, Opal. We got her, and she was literally a handful. We got her. She has been so efficient at catching rodentia, mice around the apartment, that she actually caught ringworm. Uh, Thankfully, uh, we immediately got the medication for it. She's over that now. Yeah, I think that literally, I mean, from birth, this kitty cat could have just fended for herself and hunted. How old are you? We got you in September. So she was 2 months old. So now she's about. So she's waiting around to see if I have any pork. Don't. Oh. Let's see here. So, okay, what was I gonna do? Oh, what I need to do is go to my list of stuff I need. Sorry, and I never played. Oh, that was it. Okay, it's like that noise. Um, that has a pre. Well, never judge a book by its cover. All right. Yeah, I have to go to my to-do list over here. Owns a printer bay at Harbor Master House. Oh yeah, vehicle lift in the gas station basement. Yes, I actually got that right now. Let me download that. Actually, yes, I'm already. Yeah, I'm gonna have to make a. I mean, I had forgotten how those walls between those doors, the Fallout shelter doors, were set up, and so that was. I'm gonna have to revisit that later. There's a little bit more complexity to it than actually anticipated. But we made changes, so we got to export that guy. Want to go? Fuel tank chunk. Oh, looks like we have some crap over here. Okay, there's some stuff that's placed all the way. That's shouldn't be here. We'll just move that back. What is that stuff? Oh, I know what that stuff is. I believe all of that could be. Yeah. Yeah, I forget even what I was talking about. I adopted a pair of Orange Brothers license. Actually, we have another kitty cat. She was in Olivia about 4 years ago. She was a kid that was actually, when we got her, she was 9 months old. She had already had kittens herself. And she was rescued from a kill shelter like an hour before her and her 4 kittens were to be put down. And then her and her 4 kittens were put on an airplane and flown. Well, just step by step. I think this underground railroad of people who love cats, and part of her journey was a flight on a Cessna airplane up here to Portland. So she had been through a heck of a lot. The one thing is that she has a little bit of the CH. It's cerebral. It's something that cats can have. It doesn't impair her movement like that usually does, but it makes her incredibly jittery. She's an incredibly jittery cat. She will demand attention, and the moment you give her, she'll just run away because it's so overpowering. She's just odd. Oh yeah, because I got the revised model from. Oh hey there, Turbo Squid. Yeah, I bought a model on Turbo Squid. Of one of those car elevation things. I have not owned a car in, I think, 27 years, if not longer. So I forget, if you bring them in, if you bring your vehicle into a garage, they put it on it and it raises it up. I think it's a car thing. That's what it is. Just going to put this on my D drive for the. Place the files in this destination. Fantastic. Okay, so let's go back to Blend. Yeah, she's very excitable, but she's always in a good mood. She reminds me. I used to work with a guy down in New Jersey. His name was Vinny, and he had this cat. Of course, half the people in New Jersey are named Vinny. File. Oh, actually, no. I got a Blender file. I forget. Save. I so rarely get a straight up. There we go. Excellent. You see what I'm saying? The thing where you roll your car onto it and it raises it up. We needed that. But oh yeah, but Vinny, yeah, this cat, Vinny, bless his soul. He's a really nice guy. Um, he always, if he finds a stray cat, he will try and adopt them. And he found this one cat, and it was this orange cat. He named him Mister Happy, and it's because the cat was always in a freaking great mood, always just happy. And that's what Miss I call him Olivia Miss Happy because she's always just up, always in a good mood, always. I've never seen her in a bad mood. I think it's she's Abyssinian, partly, so I think that comes with the breed. Um, okay, so now what we have to do is make the elevation platform as tall as we want it to be inside of Unity. So for the time being, what I'm going to do is I'm going to first export this as an FBX. Bring it into project and see how big it is. Okay, we're going to call this car elevator. All right. Our stuff. Ashes. Car elevate. Cut in. Ah. Oh, I see. It's not positioned correctly or not scaled. So, geez, I forget what I was rambling about. That's probably a good thing because it was probably incredibly dull. Very, very dull. But, yeah, all I could say is that, heck, I would say that there is a good reason to be concerned right now. And the really sad thing is, if you want, you are probably more likely to get accurate war news from the Iranians than you are from the United States of America or the president. I will say that straight up. You just will. It's sad to say, but that's where we are as a country. Uh, I mean, what do you expect? We elected an incompetent liar, grifter, lunatic to the highest office that we can claim as a country. And I what? You're going to be shocked when he turns out to be an absolute turd? I mean, I wasn't. I'm still not. I lament that it happened. I mean, I thought. I mean, all empire. This is one angle. Also, all empires deserve. All empires die eventually. And the United States empire has been on the verge of collapse from so many different directions for the longest time. And I thought when the United States collapsed, it would be a little bit more gentle. It would be a slow, sort of like the British Empire when it just gave up its stuff. It said, now we're going to become a commonwealth, and now we're going to become this place just known for tea and comedy. That's what I hoped America's decline would be. The United States' decline would be. I didn't think it would be this clumsy, stupid, insane thing that we're seeing play out in front of us right now. I had no idea that would be. I had never conceived of such stupidity. And I thought that after. I made the mistake that a lot of people on the left did during the last election. I mean, if you're not aware, Donald Trump got fewer votes in 2024 than he did in 2016. The reason that he that he won, is that a hell of a lot of the left stayed at home, partially because of, let's face it, there is we have a problem with the racism and sexism in this country. We had a black woman running for president. We just did, and some people had a problem with that. But can I also say, Kamala did everything that she could to distance herself from Israel. She refused to see, attend Benjamin Netanyahu's visit to Congress to watch him, lie. Um, but the thing is, that's the best she could do. During the election, when Israel was, and I will say this with all honesty, perpetrating an atrocity on the level of anything that the Nazis did. Anything. They destroyed Gaza more than the Nazis destroyed Warsaw. And Warsaw was 80% destroyed in World War II. And Kamala, she couldn't say, because of AIPAC, she couldn't say much. And during the election, she said, "Oh, there's no space between me and Joe Biden on Israel." And that hurt her on top of everything else, because again, they were perpetrating to a great extent with our financial assistance one of the worst freaking genocides of the worst genocide of this new century. And I confess I was watching what was going on in Gaza, but I had to stop watching because it was too unbelievably horrific and heartbreaking. And I was afraid that if I continued watching, I might not be able to vote for the administration that was allowing this to happen. And again, Kamala did everything that she could as a candidate. Just not attending, BB's Lie Fest to the Congress was a statement in and of itself, but not enough. And I know, now in retrospect, and this is not a conspiracy, Israel was intentionally doing that. They were being absolutely as horrific and cruel as they could because they knew it would hurt Biden or his successor, and they wanted Trump in. I voted for Kamala because I knew that she would be far more, she would put some brakes on the insanity over there, and she wouldn't have fallen for, I don't think she or her husband, maybe her, oh my God, Kamala's husband being, a Hollywood producer of that faith may have been on the Epstein list. It's unfortunate, but anyway, I think she. Here's the thing: her husband may have been on the Epstein list, but I think she would have still said no, BB, no. This is insanity, because unlike Donald Trump, I've read the Pentagon briefing. I mean, just a week before this happened, I read. I was watching Alternate History Hub, and the guy there, he laid it out. Years ago, the Pentagon laid out we could not go to war with Iran. Here's what would happen. It would be a disaster. We would lose at least 3 aircraft carriers and a loss of 20,000 men. And that was several decades ago. That was before Iran discovered, oh, we can really just, economic warfare, which is what they're because and if you're not aware, we've had 2 of our aircraft carriers knocked out, and Iran is not even. It's done it with its short range missiles. It's not done it with its suicide boats, which it still is. Pretty much all of them I mean, every time when this idiot in the White House comes out and goes, "We've totally destroyed them. They don't know who's in charge anymore." I could just tune into the foreign minister, giving a press conference in Ankara, and I know what the government's. I know Press TV is still broadcasting. I know, yeah, they didn't. The internet was not knocked out in Iran. Iran shut the internet down intentionally. And, I mean, they are still. I mean, if the internet was knocked down in Iran, how come they're still uploading all their Lego propaganda videos? Anybody ask that? Anyway, and I don't know what he's going to say during his conference. He's supposedly making an announcement or some sort of crap tonight. And I would say, Donald Trump, if you're watching, and I know you are, the best thing you can do is call BB and go, listen. Yeah, I know you have those videos of me, and you could just like haul those out and defame me. But if you do, Israel's not going to get another single penny from the United States from here until eternity. Boom, hang up, then go on the air or on TV and go, my fellow Americans, I'm just going to pull us all home. We knocked them out. We destroyed Iran. We're going to, and on top of that, we're going to close down all our bases in all of those countries. I'm going to save the taxpayer so much money. Boom. That is Trump. I know you're watching. That's what you do. That's what you do. Because honest to God, BB, I mean, he will understand that Israel's future is a little, I mean, he's sort of confused like you that he thinks the state is him, but he would realize, oh my goodness, if I do this, oh, we can't do this anymore. The whole jiggle will be up. You could call his bluff, Trump. You could. You totally could. Because BB, I mean, if you don't, the only way Israel is going to win this war is by going nuclear. Even if we try and land troops, that's going to be a disaster. And if Israel goes nuclear, I mean, every pretense for this war is over. Oh, I thought Israel used nukes. I thought Iran was a nuclear problem. That's what every American's going to be asking the next day. So, and BB's going to come out. Well, if we imagine the nuclear weapons we would have had to use if they had a nuclear weapon. I think that's when it shatters. So BB, I think, is really, and I mean, if Trump has had the courage and brains, he could actually turn this totally around and get BB. Just let Israel fend for itself. And again, they're going to use the nuclear weapon anyway. Why have us in it? And yeah, if they do that Samson thing, I know what would happen. 80 million people dead immediately, 800 million dead over the next couple of months. He will have perpetrated a genocide on a level that makes the genocide against the Jewish people look like nothing. He will have squandered every bit of goodwill the Jewish people have been able to. He will be the ultimate Shonda for the Goyim, shall I say. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to make it so that this will raise up all the way to, the ceiling. So what I want to do is I want to grab that, and I want to grab a piece of ceiling, and I want to export this. And we can call this share. That back into here. But that's not going to happen. I have a feeling that he is going to announce that we are going to be sending troops into Iraq. I'm sorry, Iran. Oh goodness! I mean, it's only been what 20 years. Anyway, And Iran is a first world country with a tradition. I mean, we're like, oh yeah, I'm proud to be an American. I die for my country. We do not have the culture of martyrdom that Iran has. We do not understand. I mean, I remember during the Iran-Iraq War when Tehran was literally reduced, I mean, to rubble. When they say Iran's getting pounded by the Israeli, oh, compared to what was going on back then, and Iran did not stop fighting. And for some reason, they think that bombing campaigns never work. If you haven't discovered, I mean, a lot of people are learning that over the last couple of weeks too. Is that in world history, there's never been a bombing campaign that has succeeded. How come I can't go into edit mode? That's weird. That's very what? Ah, there we go. Oh, I need to. And I mean, seeing them fall for the same again. Hey, I remember, if you're not aware, during lead up to the Iran-Iraq, to the invasion of Iraq, it was just so stupid to see. I mean, people like standing out on street corners. Let's roll! Let's roll! Let's go! Let's go! Let's invade Iraq! And those same people are like, yeah, I'm voting for Trump. He's not an establishment politician. He ain't going to get us any. And of course, they're going to come up with a reason to support. You know, there's this one guy I kept in touch with for the longest time. He was a self-described fascist, but he seemed to be, yeah, crazy me. But anyway, I kept in touch with him for a long time because he was a good artist, and, you know, like all fascists, he was a good artist. No. But anyway, I had known him for a lot of years. And I think he'd become that way because really, what he got through in the core. Anyway, it's like, I'm a fascist, but I'm not a racist. But, you know, after the killing of Alex Preddy by ICE, you know, I contacted this guy because I know, he said, yeah, I voted for Trump. I really like what he stands for. I like Stephen Miller. Yeah, let's get rid of all the foreigners, etc., etc. But this guy, I know for a fact, he conceal carried every day. Every day. And after Alex Preddy was killed by ICE, I just had to go, okay, dude, how do you feel now? I mean, I wasn't gloating. I was just saying, what is your opinion of what happened? He said, well, all of a sudden he found a dozen reasons why somebody should not be carrying concealed carry. After literally years of being against any gun control, he suddenly found a reason. Now, here was my problem. And Laura was good to point this out. Understand that a fascist does not work on logic or consistency. They work on obedience. In fact, there is literally, I mean, Adolf Hitler gave this speech about how within the German heart there is this absolute need to obey. And that is what fascism is. And I discovered in the end, this guy, I thought he would have principles, but no, he has no principles. Fascists have no principles. They just are looking to be able to satisfy their need to obey. And I think that's the most un-American damn thing I've ever heard. I mean, the one thing, I mean, on top of a hell of a lot of other things, the whole hate, I mean, the whole like thing about the mandatory state mandated, you know, mourning for the murder of Charlie Kirk. I was like, absolutely not, for no other reason that, I mean, no. You tell me, and unless that I do not bend my knee for anybody that I do not know. I didn't follow the guy. I hadn't even heard of him for a couple of, and now you're telling me I'm supposed to freaking get on my knees and be like all upset about this guy who a couple of weeks beforehand and said that like the death of children is unfortunately necessary to preserve our God-given rights. But here's the thing, and this may surprise you, to the few people who are still watching. Let's just say I don't believe that young man shot Charlie Kirk, but I will drone on about it. And I'll just remark, during that time when Israel was perpetrating that genocide in Gaza, they got really good at long-distance assassination by drone. That's absolutely tangential, just saying. I should also just mention that, the last time that Charlie Kirk was invited into the White House, the last person who saw him there said, he yelled very, just over the top, said, "These idiots are trying to get us into a war with Iran." I have also heard that a couple of weeks prior to his death, he was offered literally 9 digits. We're talking over $100 million. If he would just stop being so critical of Israel and stop saying that invading Iran would be a bad idea. And guess what? Charlie Kirk turned down over $100 million on principle. I'm not going to mourn the guy, but I will say that is worthy of some respect. And you will have noticed after Charlie Kirk was murdered, there was a purge at Turning Point USA. And they got rid of everybody that was critical of the whole of Israel or this plan for a war with Iran. And I'm not just going to say it may be just a Mossad operation, if that's what it is. Understand there's a big, long history of movements killing their rising star. If you're not aware, Fidel Castro basically set up Che Guevara to be assassinated or killed. He was executed. There are other instances, if you care to look them up. I mean, I unfortunately can't do all of your historical research for you, but there have been multiple instances in which a rising star in a political movement that's a little bit against the grain gets whacked by his own side, and thereafter is used by that side as a symbol for something that they never, ever supported. And I'm noticing all of a sudden that Charlie Kirk's wife is saying that not supporting, she equated supporting Israel to supporting her husband. So I will reiterate, I was not into the whole state-mandated mourning. But in retrospect, I think there was a very, very good chance he was eliminated because he would have been I mean, he was a very popular person among the right. One third, only a third of Americans had ever heard of Charlie Kirk by the time of his assassination. But he was very, very popular among the right. And to have the most popular rising star among the right talking, saying we should not invade Iran in the lead up to the final. Israel's been wanting to invade, to wipe Iran out for the longest time. They can't evade Iran because they don't have the. As you've noticed lately, they're running out of troops. I mean, they're at war on like how many different fronts now? I believe they're dealing with Hezbollah and Hamas, and they're still bombing the shit out of Gaza. They're annexing land in the West Bank still. So you got two fights there. They're trying to annex southern Lebanon. And they're dealing with, the fallout from, the incoming crap from Iran. That's another reason why Trump, and I know you're watching, if you're watching, as I know you, tonight, just you're on your own. And also pat him on the back. Go, if you're thinking of using those nukes, don't go there. Because let me tell you, that even a low yield nuke, to knock out their mountain complex through whatever EMP or whatever they can. I think after that, the rest of Europe is just going to go, no, we're out of this. And really, the rest of the world is going to start just going, yes, we're going to start buying in the Chinese yuan. The petrodollar is dead. Because here's the thing. We're discovering right now, I mean, that, yeah, the consequences of an insane person's decisions can reverberate in ways that are just beyond belief. I mean, I did not know we would ever. I'd never conceived of this because I never thought we would have a head of state that would do something like this. Something so stupid, but here we are. But the one thing that I have a little bit of hope for is that there are people behind the scenes that are trying to put a lid on this. I mean, the Philippines, all these countries that are dealing. But here's my fear: is I think literally he's going to go on TV tonight and he's going to declare we are going to start landing our troops there, and there's going to be another. We're going to waste another. We're going to throw about $3 billion worth of bombs at them tonight, hitting the same crap again, and we're going to invade. And I think that Trump is just really hoping that maybe after a few thousand American U.S. Marines die, that there will be this great hue and cry rallying around our troops. And, oh yeah, we got to get those Iranians. Look at what they did to us. But we're not that stupid. At least I hope we're not. Car elevator. And if you don't watch John Kiriakou, sometimes he gets things wrong. Some things I disagree with him on, but I'd recommend him because he worked in the CIA for a goodly number of years. And he's very cool with Code Pink, Medea Benjamin, and a lot of left wing, movements and such. And he worked with the CIA, and he could tell you if you think Israel has ever been our ally. No, they have never been. I mean, if you don't know, the CIA basically cannot do cannot spy in Israel, but the Mossad is given free rein to spy here in the United States, and the CIA can't do anything about it, and the FBI is basically told hands off. And like I said, my sister visited Israel. And here's all I needed to know. From Ben Gurion Airport to the exit is a guaranteed 4 hours. If you're lucky. No. Basically, they've turned the entrance to their country into TSA hell, and I just have no interest in that. Also, because I'm not religious at all. Oh, the Holy Land. Don't give a crap. Just don't. Just don't. I mean, if you believe that crap, you're in the league of the people who are going, oh, yeah, because this book that, that was written thousands of years ago tells me this is my homeland, I can move from Brooklyn with my entire family and take some Palestinians' land without any repercussions because it's my land. I mean, it's just garbage, just garbage. And the whole Christian millennialism garbage that feeds into this, like they're like, oh yeah, this is how Jesus Christ is going to return. Oh my God. Oh. I mean, this whirlwind of insanity is just somewhat is terrifying. And the most ridiculous part of it is that when I say this part is terrifying, Trump supporters are going, ha ha, we totally own them libs. Look how scared they are. I'll return. I mean, maybe this is how I should end, because really, after after we shat the bed in 2020 and oh my God, we've done generational damage not only to ourselves and to the world. I did a stream and I stand by that today because it turned out to be absolutely 100% true. The people who are hurting from this the most domestically are the people who voted for it. The economy's heading toward, it's already in recession, it's heading toward a depression. Thank you, businessmen who voted for this crap. Israel's wrecked. Thank you for the Zionists and CPAC, those people who supported it. All the people who thought this would be like lowering your grocery bill or your gas bill or any of your bills, nope. Yeah, and they can laugh at us. Oh, you liberals are having to go through the same thing. We still owned you. Well, goodness gracious, if that's where your brain is, I don't even know where there's any hope for you, bud. If that's what you consider a win, that literally you're willing to sacrifice a good deal of your own life to own the libs, because that's where the right is these days. It's embarrassing. I mean, I'm old enough, can I just say, to remember William F. Buckley and conservative thinkers that, I disagreed with so much, but they were eloquent and they were intelligent and they gave an argument that was rational. Yes, I disagreed with it, but it was rational. I mean, as somebody on the left, I sort of want a healthy right wing in this country, but what we have now is this rotten, inbred mess. And when I see that one guy in Iran, he's like this English professor, and he's like, there's no outrage. There's no outrage. And I said, most of us in these United States are outraged at what's going on. But the sad damn thing is there's so little we can do. There's nothing we can do. And I know, here's the thing. I said this after George W. Bush Trust me, we're going to get a president that's so goddamn dumb from the Republicans that it's going to make George W. Bush look like a genius. Trust me, and mark my words. In times to come, we are going to get a president here in this country that will make Donald Trump look like a strategic freaking genius. And the same people who voted for Donald Trump will vote for that person, and they will go, "Yeah, I'm going to vote for a non-politician. I'm sick of these interests in these legacy politicians, these establishment politicians. This guy's going to go in and he's going to wreck things up and he's going to make things good. He's not going to get us into war. And within 6 months or within 6 days, when that person gets us into war, that person is the voters are immediately going to turn around. They're going to go, oh my goodness, this man is the best ever. He's the best. I mean, I really would like to talk to a Trump supporter. I like these guys, the good liars. They go around to these Trump supporter, these Trump rallies and such, and just ask. And I would like to just try and have a rational argument with this Trump supporter. But again, like Laura pointed out, and like I learned with that guy that I talked about a while ago, there is no rationality behind it. These are people just looking for somebody to save them, somebody to follow. And again, that's the most un-American damn thing I have ever heard. We're supposed to be a country of people that just don't fall for kings and just don't. Oh my goodness! And it just makes no damn sense. And no, here's something that I wanted to touch on earlier, and I lost track of it. If you've never heard of a book called the Lucifer Principle, it's a book about human psychology by Howard Bloom, and this is what I should end on because really I need to start writing stuff. I need to finish up a book that I started writing the other day, one of the books of the game. But let me see. I'm going to bring this up. Let's see. The Lucifer Principle. The Lucifer Principle is a book that I think is very important to understanding the world and humanity. Here's one thing that you don't need you need to understand. We would like to think that we are separate from nature. The Lucifer Principle. It's by Howard Bloom. He was basically a record producer. This is one of the most excellent books about understanding humanity and in the world at large, at least from our perspective. We are both part of and we are descended from nature. We are integrated with nature as much as we try to remove ourselves and think we are separate from it, but we are part of it. And understand, up to our navel, if we look at our DNA, up to our navel, we share DNA with most protozoans. Up to here, we share DNA with earthworms, and we would like to think that does not influence us. But it does. We act under influences that we are seriously not aware of. And here is the thing. If you are not aware, global warming isn't something that we are trying to prevent. It's here. And we recently discovered its rate is increasing. Now, we would like to think we are sane people. And yes, we are for the most part sane people, but as a mob, we become less human, and these baser instincts just take hold. And I think that the insanity that we are seeing right now is, again, all the DNA that we share with earthworms. I mean, again, with cats up to here, we understand on a level that we are not aware of that the world was going through a profound and possibly disastrous change. And we are behaving in ways that are irrational, just as like there's some, like a maggot on the ground. When something's on them, they just twitch. They just twitch to throw off what is on them, even though sometimes it'll cause them to kill themselves or land somewhere where they'll die. I think that there are pressures that are being exercised on humanity right now that have never, at least within living memory, have never been exerted upon us. And that, again, that part of the primal part of our DNA is as much as we try to stay rational as individuals, I think as a collective, things are going are heading toward a very bad place. But again, I recommend this book. I'm going to step away, and I'm going to say, if anybody has any last questions for me, I'm sorry I didn't get much work done here, but I just really want to talk about what's going on here in this country, because if nothing else, let me tell you, the vast majority of the people of this country don't support what's going on. And I mean, you Iranians, you Persians, you people all over, I mean, except those people who are trying to, like, oh yeah, let's bring back the show. Understand, we don't like what's going on. We never voted for, we didn't want this. And a majority of the people that even said, oh yeah, I'm voting for this, now say we didn't. We are in a bad place as a country. And I would recommend, and I'm not panicking, but just taking precautions. Because, again, somebody who's followed this stuff for really my entire life. I mean, I started politics and history when I was 12 years old and was obsessive. And we are going to territory I've seen. I'll be right back. All right. For those who tuned back in, unfortunately, I am going to be heading out now. Nobody asked any questions here, and um, right now I'm waiting. I need to talk to our coder because unfortunately I discovered today that the golf carts were not in the game. Gotta add those. Anyway, take care of those, and if anybody watched